guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. We're going to do another team versus video today here. We are going to do the newest Dokkan Festival exclusive, which is, of course, Super Trunks, against last year's Dokkan Fest exclusive from this exact same time slot, which is DOKKANFEST TEQ Pan. Now, you know, it is funny. I mean, Pan is a character whose design I really do not like. But Pan's team, as you guys can see from some of the options we have here, has been buffed dramatically by some major characters that have released. And then DOKKANFEST Super Trunks, he's a character that I feel like his team, sort of at the start, is typically kind of atrocious. You are very prone to bad RNG, and things can just generally go very, very bad. Now, I did record the Pan run first, because I was just potentially a little bit nervous about Pan potentially getting, you know, completely destroyed or one-shot or something like that. I really do not like the way Pan is set up, where she has damage reduction only in slot 1. But it's not even that much. I mean, a big boss super attack would still do insane damage to Pan. And then she's really not, like, uber defensive, even if, like, you run her in, like, slot 2 or something like that. But she's got All in the Family, which, you know, I tried to get at least a couple of All in the Family characters that could be floating around for Pan to be able to get those. Now, remember that Super Trunks over here, Super Trunks does need to do his necessary attacks in order to actually transform into Super Trunks. We got a very good opening rotation here with LR Gold and Frieza able to go in slot 1. LR Gold and Frieza actually works unbelievably well for Trunks' team, because remember, think of the way LR Gold and Frieza is, where he is, you know, the strongest defensive character in the game pretty much turn 1, but he will slowly taper off as the fight goes on. Well, on the Trunks team, right, with the ability to have multiple Ghost Ushers and stuff like that, by the time Frieza wears out of his strong defensive ability, you know, you might be able to either kill the boss super fast with Super Trunks, or have the Ghost Usher up with Super Trunks as well. And then, of course, we are bringing the 8th anniversary LRs. I mean, they're like a must-run. Now, for Pan, I remember that Pan has a lot of different conditions. She can get an additional if you have a GT Goku, right, which we do have with the, you know, full power LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And then Pan also is able to get her unit super attack if we have a GT Trunks Gyro, or specifically a GT Goku. Not a Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but a GT Goku. I'm not really the biggest fan of most of those characters. We could, you know, the 8th anniversary LR, of course, is fantastic. They're not on Pan's team, unfortunately. But like that is how we could potentially get the unit super attack for Pan. But again, we don't have access to that character on Pan's leader skill. I did want to run Pan's leader skill. I could have actually not run her as leader, but I felt like there was no reason not to, because her team is strong, right? I was able to find a Rainbow Pan as well. Now, my original intention was to actually jump into the Red Zone Frieza fight, but I was a little nervous. Oh, wow, look at that. We finished the first face-off at exactly the same time. That's interesting, huh? I don't think that's very common. And it's funny because Pan's they're on turn 4, even though they finished turn 3 at the same time. I mean, I guess that could, like, the 8th anniversary LR is just attacking and attacking and attacking and stuff like that, does sort of make sense, right? Now, we are going to have Bulma along with Pan's team, giving her support all the time, so that's going to be very good for us. Now, we get Super Trunks' active skill. Well, let me say Super Saiyan. We get Super Saiyan Trunks' active skill. There's no reason to save it. Like, you never want to save it or anything like that, because he can only do it before he transforms into Super Trunks anyway. So, you know, we pop that, get the attack, get the extra damage. I did decide to pop the Tech Android's Ghost Usher right now, because I was thinking about it, and it's like, the way this Cell fight is structured, once we get the Super Trunks out, Cell is not a boss, I don't think, even the strong Red Zone boss. He's not enough to be able to handle Super Trunks. So I was very confident that I could pop the Android's Ghost Usher right now, so that we don't potentially have to take a lot of damage and, you know, potentially mess up Trunks' abilities and stuff like that, right? So we pop the Android's Ghost Usher right now, and then it would not bite us in the ass later on, because we have the 2 turns where Super Trunks is supercharged plus the Ghost Usher. I mean, best case scenario, you would have Super Trunks turn 1, you'd have the other Super Trunks turn 1, then you have Super Trunks turn 2, then the other Super Trunks turn 2, and then you could potentially have 2 turns then of Ghost Ushers available to you. In my experience, though, that, like, I've never had that actually happen. Typically, the Super Trunks is actually just kill the bosses too fast. Even Omega, like the toughest boss in the game, Super Trunks will just tear through them just so utterly fast. We're going to slowly build up until Pan is able to use her active skill as well. Remember, as Pan does a lot of attacks, she's eventually going to get to the point where she will be able to do her active skill, which typically does hit very hard. I mean, I feel like it hit much harder when she released, but keep in mind, Pan kind of came out before the major power creep last year of the Worldwide Download Celebration into Kid Goku into the Gammas. But, I mean, Vegeta and Trunks and Golden Frieza are characters that came out before Pan who are ridiculously good and viable. It feels to me like Vegeta and Trunks and Golden Frieza have not aged at all. Like, there's almost very little difference between them existing right now as when they first came out. The only real difference, I guess, is, I mean, you could certainly say there's other characters who could do what Vegeta and Trunks can do in some of these Saiyan teams, for sure, but Vegeta and Trunks are still ridiculously powerful. So I did the standby into the, get the Spirit Bomb charging up, because I figured by the time we get towards the end, it's like we'll be dropping the Spirit Bomb on a turn with Super Trunks, and it might just be like the final blow to finish one of these phases of Cell off. So we're actually kind of going a little slow here. The Pan team has gone ahead, right? Because, I mean, the Super Trunks team has got like a little bit of setup and stuff like that. It's not really too shocking, but I mean, once Super Trunks starts coming out, you know how ridiculous things get. One major problem with Super Trunks' team is the start of the fight. And we got a very good start, right? Like, characters like Aegea, LR Gohan, I mean, he's weakest turn 1. Super Saiyan Trunks weakest turn 1. 8th Anniversary LR, like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta are weakest turn 1. That's why it is nice that you do have LR Golden Frieza on the team, who is potentially the strongest turn 1 character in the game. Now, we have access to Pan's active skill on her side, and then we're finally getting the transformation in the Super Trunks over there. I'm going to save Pan's active skill. No reason to use it. We certainly would blow this cell away, but I feel like we could still just continue to save Pan's active skill, and we are going to be good to go. And then over here, it's like we probably do not need to use Super Trunks' active skill Ghost Usher here. Remember that Trunks is going to do guaranteed crits on his super attack, and he's doing a guaranteed additional super as well, along with, 14 million, 15 million, 16 million, 17 million attack stats, something along those lines. So I don't think that this Cell, he cannot survive, like, Trunks attacking and then, like, the LR gods attacking. But I think Trunks will presumably, I believe he just kills Cell before even the LR gods have a chance to do anything. Alright, remember, once you get to Super Trunks, like, he's crazy. A lot of people asked, why did I have Super Trunks where I did in my tier list? And I really don't feel like I misplaced him at all. I don't. I think Super Trunks is in the perfect spot. By the way, we dodged the super attack right there. Love that. Can I get that put on the board, please? The super attack dodge? Hello? I mean, I guess that is good because it keeps Trunks from having the defensive debuff applied. So that's helpful. That's one thing to keep in mind with dodge, is that if the boss has powerful defensive effects that they could trigger, you will dodge the debuff that the boss has, which we did. We dodged Cell's ability to lower Trunks' defense right there, which is good. All right, so now we move over to buff Cell. Now, it's very good we get Oob here, because buff Cell always, I swear, I've done this fight like 150 times or something like that at this point. And Cell, I think I've only ever seen buff Cell not super attack instantly, like, once ever. Like, you always assume that Cell is instantly super attacking. You always assume that. So it's good that we get Oob out to completely be able to tank it. But Oob, actually, it's not even that Oob is going to tank it either. I mean, you guys will see in 2 seconds here. Now, knowing that Cell always super attacks with Trunks, I feel like just pop the Ghost Usher. There's no reason for us to eat a 1 million damage super attack from a boss that we know is coming. So I'll just Ghost Usher and we'll just kill Cell before he could do anything. We still have the Spirit Bomb. We still have the other Trunks' Ghost Usher. We should be good. So Cell Super's here. But remember, it's pretty uncommon. But Oob does have a melee super nullification, which we actually get right there. So that is very good. Getting that nullification in right there. And then Trunks, remember, the Ghost Usher's a guaranteed crit. And every super attack Super Trunks does is also a guaranteed crit. No one is dissing Super Trunks once we actually transform into Super Trunks. Right, he's absolutely crazy. I think we just kill Cell on this turn right here. I think we do. Between the Ghost Usher, the Spirit Bomb, right? And then it's like Trunks, double super, double crits. The LR Gods are going to double super. And then the 8th Anniversary LRs are probably going to knock out, you know, their 4 super attacks. So it just puts us in a position where, like, Cell, like, he just got no chance. This is, like, kind of like the exact type of way where this, like, team just, like, the run went perfect. And that's the thing. I've described Super Trunks' team as an avalanche before, and that really is what it feels like. Once, like, the avalanche gets going, like, once you get to Super Trunks unscathed, it's just, like, an unstoppable force. And you just are plowing through. It doesn't matter what bosses it is. Omega, Cell, Cell Max, Red Zone Broly. Like, Super Trunks does the same thing to every single boss. The concern, the issue for Super Trunks is the team overall strength up until Trunks transforms. Because, again, EGL Gohan, 8th Anniversary, like, all those characters have that same weakness. So that kind of can be an issue, right? Like, if LR Golden Frieza starts out in slot 7, that's typically very bad. And then Trunks is just going to completely dominate. We pop Bulma's active skill over here, and then that should give us a ton of damage towards Cell. I was actually a little nervous, because I was like, damn, I actually don't want to kill Cell right here, because, remember, we could still do Pan's active skill. But we do actually come just shy of killing, because Carnival Goku does not have his attack buff. When Carnival Goku does, like, we killed Cell with Super Trunks, and it's like, we still had a lot more of that rotation to go, right? Like, you can see how Super Trunks can be really, really crazy. And then Carnival Goku didn't get the full hits to get the attack buff, so his attack is very low if you don't get the full hits in, right? Pan is able to do some okay damage. Now, Pan actually does get super attacked right here. I was a little concerned about this, but Pan eats it well. One reason I wanted to run EGL Carnival Goku, I felt like he would be a good run in here, is because he is giving All in the Family to Pan. That was a decent tank job by Pan right there, because Perfect Cell is a 1 million damage super attack boss. He's a heavy hitter, right? Pan, you know, she's fully built up. We had All in the Family activated. We had Bulma's support up. We had Bulma's active skills support up. And we saw a nice turn where Pan was able to just eat a type neutral 1 million damage super, like, boss super attack, which is cool. So then we get to this spot right here, and it's like, you know, Pan will be able to just go ahead and neutralize Cell. This animation right here, I just feel like it's just so iconic. Full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku coming out, so we just had to get that in there. And then Pan will be able to finish him off. Oh, one other thing to mention about Pan. Remember, in order to do Pan's active skill, you have to have a GT Goku on rotation. The character has to have GT Goku in the name to do it. But remember, when Oob is out there, it is Oob and Super Saiyan 4 Goku still. So even in that second phase where Oob is out, you can do Pan's active skill. It's LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. Once you fuse into Gogeta, you no longer could trigger her active skill. And then the 8th Anniversary LR, if you swap into Super Saiyan Vegeta, you can't trigger Pan's active skill. But throughout every phase of full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you are able to trigger her active skill, which is good. And then there we go. We get the crit on the active skill, and then that, no better way to end the fight. That is even though that's not, like, actually a KO screen, that feels like a top 5 level KO screen to me. That shit is just so raw. I love that one, and I also love the Tech LR Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan, like, you know, like them finishing up their active skill. Those two, that is just, like, such good stuff. So there we go. There is the, you know, the last time slot, you know, of July, Dokkan Fest Pan versus Super Trunks. Let me know what you guys thought of these two characters and their teams. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.